Walt Disney presents the Hall of Presidents.
Across the timbers of Liberty Bridge stands the Great Colonial Hall, a giant bell hanging from its peak tower. Its red brick walls look fresh and new, just as they might have in the days when Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and others gathered to create a new nation.
Inside this stately building are recalled great moments of the men who led the nation through its first 2 centuries. The setting is Liberty Square in the Magic Kingdom Park. The building is the Hall of Presidents, where lifelike figures of all 40 presidents of the United States come alive on stage. The dramatization traces a nation's history, emphasizing the importance of America's heritage, the Constitution, and the presidency.
Nowhere in the world is presented a government of so much liberty and equality. Without union, the Constitution is only a piece of paper. I know there is a God, and that He hates injustice and slavery.
These words were first written more than 100 years ago by Abraham Lincoln, and are given renewed meaning today through the sophisticated Disney audio animatronics system, which electronically synchronizes sound, lighting, and motion to produce lifelike animation. In the Hall of Presidents, the marvels of space-age electronics are combined with the skills of the sculptor and the talents of artists and dramatists to make history live.
The Hall of Presidents was more than 15 years in conception, design, and execution by the Walt Disney Imagineers. It represents painstaking research and is one of the most popular shows in the Magic Kingdom Park. Sculptors originally spent 2 years creating life-sized figures of 36 presidents, from Washington to Nixon. Later, when Presidents Ford, Carter, Reagan, and Bush took office, the sculptors studied hundreds of photographs and films describing the presidents' personalities, mannerisms, and physical characteristics, so they could be added to the dramatic presentation.
Authenticity is the keynote of the Hall of Presidents. From furniture on stage to wigs, jewelry, and costumes of the figures, the chair in which George Washington sits is an exact reproduction of the one the father of our country used during the 1787 Constitutional Convention. Extensive research and skill are woven into the presidential wardrobe. Designed by Disney artists and created in cloth by skilled Hollywooders, the veteran designers meticulously hand-tailored each costume, reproducing not only the style of suit worn by each president, but also the sewing techniques, cutting, and stitching in vogue during each period in history.
Each of the presidential busts was sculpted without hair, then sent to Guatemala along with photographs, research notes, and a sculptured and painted hair form. Wig makers created authentic wigs for each president. A dozen renowned artists painted 100 original scenes, some of them up to 40 feet long and each a masterpiece in its own right, in the styles of famous painters of the periods of history portrayed. These paintings are used in the film sequence for the opening of the show, shown on a 180-degree screen by 570mm projectors developed by Walt Disney Company expressly for the Hall of the Presidents. The film sequence and stereo sound place each guest in the very center of action, from the signing of the Constitution, through the Civil War, to achievements of modern science enlightening our future. The curtain rises to reveal all 40 presidents on stage, individually acknowledging roll call with a nod. As the last president responds to his name, Abraham Lincoln rises to address the audience. The address is composed of excerpts from speeches by the great emancipator.
This government must be preserved in spite of the acts of any man or set of men. Nowhere in the world is presented a government of so much liberty and equality. To the humblest and poorest among us are held the highest privileges and positions. What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence? It is not the frowning battlements or bristling seacoast, our army and navy. These are not our reliance against tyranny. Our reliance is in the love of liberty, which God has planted in us. Our defense is in the Spirit, which prizes liberty as the heritage of all men, in all lands everywhere. Destroy this spirit, and you have planted the seeds of despotism at your own doors. At what point shall we expect the approach of danger? By what means shall we fortify against it? Shall we expect some transatlantic giant to step the ocean and crush us at a blow? Never. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined could not by force take a drink from the Ohio or make a track on the Blue Ridge. At what point, then, is the approach of danger to be expected? I answer, if it is ever reach us, it must spring up among us. It cannot come from abroad. If destruction be our lot, we ourselves must be its author and its finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Surely God would not have created such a being as man, with an ability to grasp the infinite, to exist only for a day. No, no, man was made for immortality.
Lincoln's last words fade away as the battle hymn of the Republic is sung by a chorus of voices in a dramatic finale. The Hall of Presidents is the drama of a new concept of freedom, of the codes of law creating that freedom, and of the American presidents, and the founding fathers who made this vision a working reality.
You have heard the infamous name of John Wilkes Booth. He assassinated Abraham Lincoln in 1885, but have you heard about Edwin Booth? John's eldest brother, Edwin, a well-known actor, was waiting at a Jersey City train station when he saw someone slip and fall off the platform. Edwin quickly grabbed the man's collar and pulled him to safety, rescuing him from serious injury or death. Who was the man he saved? Abraham Lincoln's son Robert, a soldier in the Civil War. How ironic that the man who saved Lincoln's son had a brother who would soon kill the president. One saved a life, one took a life, one chose life, the other chose death.